Hello and welcome to HeliosBlog. My name is Helios here for another reaction video. Today, Hasan reacts to a guy that embarrasses women for content. Let's get into it.
The reason she's alone is because she's difficult.
Women are not accepting the bare minimum.
Women fuck men they respect.
All the women who say things like, I'm strong, independent, I don't need no man, like, y'all impress me.
Women just gaslight each other and say what they want to hear.
Now, I don't know where this trend started, probably like 34 AD, but I know it's reached a boiling point recently with Fresh and Fit, which, as far as I can tell, is a podcast about calling women dumb.
This is the perfect example.
Yeah, okay.
That you can be dumb as a girl and make it through life, bro.
What?
Fresh and Fit revolutionized the misogyny podcast format. Instead of just having two men talk amongst themselves about meat or whatever, they bring on 10 women to talk over. And when they're not yelling at them, they're asking the women leading questions about promiscuity.
If you didn't care.
Okay. Wait. Let's talk about what logical fallacy this is that the host is doing. Okay. No. Straw man. Misrepresenting someone's argument to make it easier to attack. So he's misrepresenting the show, right? To make it easier to attack. That's not what Fresh and Fit is about. Straw man.
And it didn't matter, you would say your body count. But it does matter, which is why you don't want to say it.
No,
Indeed.
it's just because it's private.
Whether they would
Yeah, it's private because you don't want people to know, because like there's an underlying reason why.
give up Instagram for a man.
I think if you're in a serious relationship with a girl, she should not have an Instagram. That's cheating, especially
Indeed.
if she has scantily clad photos of
Yup.
herself on the internet and she's not making money off of it, which
Yup.
a lot of women tend to do.
And why their standards are too high.
Do you think women in general today are realistic or delusional about their dating standards on what they want and what they think they deserve?
And if the women disagree with the host, or he just got up on the wrong side of the bench press, they get kicked off the show. There's a full supercut of Myron getting emotional and kicking women off the show.
By the way, emotional is the correct term there. Myron is hysterical. He's emotional. Ironic because like he consistently claims
He's not hysterical or emotional. Okay, let me see. Okay, so that's an ad hominem. It's just attacking the guy's character. He's not. I've watched episodes of Fresh and Fit. He's definitely not emotional. Sneeko, though, I would say is emotional for sure. Sneeko is. And arguably, you could say John Zerka is as well. Although he does hold, like, he gets emotional, though he holds his logic even when he's kind of exploding. But no, he's not. Myron is not.
the women that he opposes on his podcast are the ones who are emotional, but he's the emotional one. He's such a bitch.
Men over.
Yeah, okay. So when he's trying to keep like a nice podcast where people are respectful, and in doing so, he has to sometimes, you know, raise his voice or maintain order on his podcast. That is not being emotional. In fact, it's the reverse. All right, let's do the shilling. Hit the like, hit the sub, hit all the notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom M, and Bobby. Shoutouts to Bobby, most recent Patreon subscriber. Thank you. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Shoutouts to Curry Kid, being the most recent purchaser of Strategist Guide to Seduction. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Of course, my Patreon link is patreon.com/theheliosblog. If you want to support me on the podcast, you just have to click the description link of the podcast and just scroll down to support the show. It's the Buzzsprout link. And of course, share this video. All right, shitting is done. Let's continue.
Overwhelmingly prefer a girl that is not promiscuous and
Yup.
doesn't come with a past.
Okay.
Yup.
That's a fact. That's not my opinion or what I think. It's men, if given the chance, would prefer a girl that isn't promiscuous
Okay.
Indeed.
or has a past.
Okay.
So that's not small-minded.
Okay.
Yo, get the fuck off the show, bro.
Because that's what big, strong men do when faced with adversity. They kick.
No, what that clip is taken out of context. So the idea is this. Because the clip is taken out of context, it is a straw man argument. It makes the guy different than he actually is. It makes him seem different than he actually is to make him easier to attack. Not once have they watched the context to see, I'll bet the girl was being very disagreeable, and rather than listening, she's just saying okay at everything. But you heard the tone. The tone was disrespectful. She was saying that because the rule is that you have to be polite to the host, so she's being maliciously compliant, which is still rude. And that's why he kicked her off.
Kick their enemies off their podcast. It's a tale as old as time. Et tu, Brutus? Get out of the studio, Caesar. Bro, just let me finish talking about these aqueducts. I unplugged your mic. Bro, that's just rude. Okay, Al. But I don't want to talk about Fresh and Fit anymore. No. Because it's too black. That's a joke, of course, but where the Fresh and Fit podcast is shot at night, often has on women of color to embarrass, and stars two black guys named Myron and Fresh. The Whatever podcast, which the rest of this video is about, is the exact opposite. It's shot in the day, there are far fewer guests of color, and it's hosted by a white guy named Brian. Though, for flavor, he does stylize his name as Brixon. I don't know why. But what I do know is that they're gentrifying misogyny podcasts now, and that's cool. Oh, and for those who are getting a little uncomfortable right now, I'm allowed to make these jokes because I don't know if you noticed, but I also have a podcast. But before we get into that, let's talk about today's sponsor, Fact.
No, we're going to skip that.
Is also deferential to his lead by virtue of the fact that she is a sex doll named Kiki.
I'm your host, Brian Atlas. I'm joined by my co-host, Kiki. She's a bit shy. Okay, a few quick announcements.
Brian introduces her like that in every episode, and it's so funny, dude. The format,
it's very cringe, but whatever. Like, what you choose to do is your choice.
The Whatever podcast may sound familiar to you. The host brings on a panel of entirely too many guests, stretching the limits of how many Shure SM7Bs can fit on a table. The show then asks incredibly original and hard-hitting questions like, what is your body count?
What's your body count? Body count doesn't matter. What's your body? Oh my god.
Lazy bones.
Would you give up Instagram for a man?
So would you get rid of your Instagram or social media for a marriageable man?
In this
So literally, it's exactly Fresh and Fit. Lovely.
Last one I never heard before. Why are women's standards so high? An investigation. You know, for a podcast about modern dating, they sure do talk a lot about traditional values.
What do you think is...
Yeah, the point being that the modern world is totally upside down. People don't know what to do. And by that I mean people have terrible outcomes. And they have terrible outcomes because they're not doing it right. And so these guys are capitalizing on this by doing what they're doing, right?
Would men have
like unfairness towards
men?
Yeah.
Like I understand like the draft. I was wondering what other.
You mentioned the draft, so yes, men are the exclusive subjects.
Yes.
Military conscription. Women are.
My man is the best, dude. Literally, anyone over the age of 35 should not be able to vote. He's not wrong. Let him cook. 18 to 35 is the only people that should vote in the goddamn elections, dude.
Excuse me?
Okay? He's not wrong. Step aside, draft king. This man is the new draft king, okay? He's right. He's right.
Disaster.
Only won't be able to vote though. No, I'm not 35 yet. I can still vote. You're 35, you can't vote. Get your old ass out of the fucking voting booth, okay? Girl I had a crush on went on the Whatever podcast. I hope your crush ended thoroughly after that.
Yeah, girls that go on podcasts like that, they're attention seekers, right? The point is they go there to promote something. Usually they're OF. So, or they're trying to get with the host.
Like, I hope you still do not maintain a crush on a girl that went on the Whatever podcast, okay?
Are entirely exempt. Men throughout all of human existence have been 99.999% of military casualties. Just on this sole grievance, I would say that the suffering.
It's funny because, like, bro, you're not a South Korean incel. You know what I mean? You're a fucking American incel. What draft are you talking about, idiot?
I don't understand. Like, again, that's an ad hominem, right? Attacking the guy because, like, he's saying a point that you don't agree with. Therefore, he's an incel. Like, no. That doesn't make him involuntarily celibate. In fact, because he has a successful podcast where he makes money and he's physically fit and he's successful, he's going to have girl options. So almost certainly he's not an incel. So you're just attacking him for no reason, right? You're attacking him because he disagrees with you, which is it's another ad hominem. Attacking your opponent's character or personal traits in an attempt to undermine their argument.
Idiot. Like, this is, like, I've heard this argument from South Korean men's rights activists, right?
Oh, so because they're from a Western country, they can't complain, right? Okay.
Like, where are you coming from? What do you mean, dude? You're in America. There's no fucking forced military conscription. Shut.
Okay. I'm just trying to find. What it is. Okay, let's continue.
The fuck up.
Suffering men have experienced when it comes to warfare outweighs all of women's collective grievances, probably at that.
Which is also pretty funny because, like, bitch, you ain't going to war. Shut the fuck up. I hate this argument. It's like, oh, men have the capacity to go to war, women don't. It's like, dude, you're not.
Yeah, so him as the individual isn't going to war, therefore he shouldn't be talking. That's anecdotal. Using an isolated example, or maybe straw man, misrepresenting the argument. Or it's also an ad hominem, right? He's saying you're a loser, you're a weak loser. You wouldn't go to war anyway, so why are you talking? You know, it's ad hominem as well. It's just Hasan only knows how to argue using logical fallacies. He doesn't know anything else.
Going to war. You're a fucking bitch ass podcaster.
Yeah, there you go.
Who
Ad
gets
hominem.
off on fucking yelling at dumbass women who want to promote their OnlyFans audiences to an audience of fucking incels. You're not a revolutionary force on this planet. You are not a big bad tough guy. You're a fucking soy-faced podcaster. What
says Hasan?
What the fuck?
Yeah, wonderful, Hasan. Great job being the white knight that people didn't know they needed, but being the white knight they deserve.
I hate this shit, okay? I know what I'm doing. I'm a Twitch streamer, dog. Make no mistake. I don't LARP as like a revolutionary or whatever. I tell you.
Hasan, have you ever seen yourself when you're filmed in public, how awkward you are compared to how you are on your actual podcast? Yeah. My lord.
Tell you very clearly. I'm a dumb himbo with a fucking stupid...
Yes, we know. We know. You're only able to argue using ad hominems and other logical fallacies. So we know.
Ass podcast, 2 podcasts as a matter of fact, and a Twitch stream. These guys, on the other hand, are like, I'm a big bad tough guy. Men go to war. Men go to war. It's like, no, bitch, you're not going to war. Okay, maybe you're going to war with hygiene, but that's it. You know,
Haha, so funny, Hasan. So funny. More ad hominems. Haha.
Basic hygiene. That's what you're going to.
Extremely funny.
Gave up. Will Neff, oh, you think our podcast is stupid? Yes, that's what I'm saying. Listen, objectively, if you have a podcast, that shit is gay as fuck, okay? It's soy. You have a podcast, you're soy. That's it. I don't make the rules.
Indeed. That's perfect. Great job, Hasan. Great, yeah. If you have a podcast like Jocko Willink, I mean, there's nothing else to be said. You're a loser.
I have 2. I'm the soyest motherfucker on the planet.
I'm glad you admitted it.
Okay.
But you didn't need a podcast to tell us that. You didn't need a podcast to tell us that. All you needed was your political views, which are a disaster, by the way. If everybody had your beliefs, the West would be in crushing decline, as opposed to just mild or relative decline.
I'm sick and tired of these PUA guys and all these
Yeah. Wait, what? This is a logical fallacy. I'm so sick of these PUA guys. It's also a straw man, right? It's misrepresenting guys in the RP community as all PUA guys. They're not. In fact, the history of the RP was like this. First, it started as PUA, and basically what PUA amounts to is this. Lie to women about what, about having the traits that they want, right? So you lie to girls about, like, you know, having money, having a nice job, you know, having girls previously and so on. And you convince a hypergamous filter that you're in fact successful, and so she sleeps with you. That's PUA. Then the thinking shifted, and it was like, wait, what if we don't lie about this? What if we actually just try to get these traits? What if we actually try to improve our fitness? What if we actually try to improve our money? What if we actually try to improve our charisma? What if we actually do it the hard way and become strong men? And acknowledge that women are attracted to a certain caliber of men and try to become that and work on ourselves. That's RP. And that the world lies to men about being weak so that, you know, they can be controlled easily. That's the RP. It's not PUA stuff anymore. Unless you count PUA as go to the gym, become more charismatic, get better friends, get your money up, dress better, groom better, and so on. Unless you count PUA as that, then it is.
red-pilled guys who are like, dude, I'm a big, bad, tough guy. I'll go to war. It's like, dude, and it, by the way.
Yeah, a lot of these RP guys, they don't just talk the talk. They also try to walk the walk, unlike what they did before. Right, in the early 2000s, it wasn't trying to walk the walk at all. It was talking the talk, and because you're able to fake it, it doesn't matter, right? You could have lots of girls. But the new trend is to actually be strong and powerful, able to fight, able to actually go to war, able to get your money up, charismatic, and so on. Well-read. So it used to be like that. So what is this logical fallacy? Texas sharpshooter, cherry picking data clusters to suit an argument or finding a pattern to fit a presumption. So it's another logical fallacy. Or it could also be what? Composition / division, assuming that what's true about one part of something has to be applied to all or other parts of it. So just because one small portion of it used to be like that doesn't mean that it is like that right now. It could also be anecdotal, using an isolated example instead of a personal experience to validate the argument, rather than, or no, a black and white, saying that only two alternatives exist. Bunch of logical fallacies here.
You want to know something else? David Goggins, soy as fuck, okay? Has a podcast, Objectively Soy. All of those fucking Navy SEALs guys who are, you know, done killing 14-year-olds and now...
Wow, Hasan. That's very disrespectful. That's actually extremely disrespectful. Like, the people that literally put their lives on the line to, like... To make your life safe so that you can sit in your house and have a podcast, you're disrespecting them by saying that? Wow. That's... Okay.
Write books, soy as fuck, okay? You're soy. Joe Rogan, you're fucking soy. You're bald and you're soy.
Okay.
Why? You have a podcast. Jocko Will.
Perfect.
Wilnick, soyest motherfucker on the planet, dude.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you'd definitely say that if he was in the same room as you. Disaster.
wakes up at 4. He wakes up at 4 a.m. every day. Why are you waking up so early? To suck dick? That's why.
Wow, Hasan. So and what's funny about this is he actually thinks that he's funny. He actually thinks he's funny. But actually all he manages is to be disrespectful.
Why? You fucking thumb looking motherfucker. You're soy as shit. Okay? I wake up at 4 a.m. every day so I can suck some cock and then do my fucking podcasting. Okay? I need more fucking time out of the day to do more podcasting. You have a podcast. You're soy. Shut the fuck up.
Okay, Hasan.
Done. You're not a warrior.
False. Like, again, ex-warrior is still a warrior. Sorry, Hasan. And probably even now he does some kind of training. Almost certainly.
1,000 times over. I'd encourage all of you to watch All Quiet on the Western Front.
I do love listening to talk of the horrors of war while...
He said, watch All Quiet on the Western Front to understand why men should only have the right to vote. It's so funny.
Why is that funny? Look at the suffering that occurs in that movie and think about what men had to sacrifice. Man, it's absurd.
First of all, you missed the point, dumbass. You missed the point, okay? You literally missed the point. It's an anti-war movie because war is fucking stupid and irrelevant and bad and dumb. And it's...
Well, that being said, men that are able to sacrifice at that level should be the ones to vote. Yes, they were also manipulated like you are by the corrupt, maybe state, but I personally think it's corporatist oligarchy, but whatever. Just like you are corrupt to have your beliefs, right? They were corrupt to go and sacrifice their lives in an for an idiotic cause, right? Effectively for imperialistic purposes, right? It is true. But look one level deeper. They were sacrificing for what? To save their women, to save their children, to save their country. People that care that much that they're willing to lay their lives on the line should vote. And yes, perhaps it is anti-war, but it doesn't matter. What matters is the underlying character traits of the men, right? Because if men are directed in the right direction, then we get very positive outcomes for society, right? If men knew how they were being tricked in 2023, then perhaps the society would be less in a state of decline. If there were less people like you, Hasan, and more people like the ones on All Quiet at the Western Front, maybe we would have a different society. Don't you dare disrespect the soldiers in that movie, because they're bigger, better men than you'll ever be, regardless of whether they were manipulated. Because most men in 2023 are manipulated, including you, which is why you have your terrible belief set, which you use to brainwash your audience with.
It's ironically also done by other people's children, okay? Not you. You're the podcaster. It's not the generals that are fighting. It's not the politicians that are fighting. It's the children that are fighting. That's the point of the movie and the book.
Indeed, and that's why they should have the right to vote. Because they, having done the ultimate sacrifice, have earned it, unlike you. And yes, they were tricked. Yes, they were manipulated. And yes, people in general should be better educated. It's true.
And you missed it. You missed that point. The point of the movie and the book wasn't like only they should get to vote.
What is this called, by the way? Moving the goalposts, I believe, is what Hasan did. It's another logical fallacy, right? Rather than respond to that point, he moved the goalposts and changed what the argument was about to, you're wrong about what the movie was about, therefore your premise is wrong. But it's actually not wrong, because that's not what the original guy was talking about. So, special pleading.
The drop comes in. So in this clip, the guest acknowledges that war is bad and a mandatory conscription is a form of oppression, and is asking for other forms of oppression that men face. And Brian's response is to just go on and on about the draft. Also, women weren't really allowed to serve in combat throughout history, in America at least, you know, because they were supposed to be rearing children and taking care of the home.
Yeah, it's because if your population of men crashes, you're still okay. If your population of women crashes, your country's gonna go down the toilet. That's because of the rate at which men and women can have children, right? That's why. That's the ultimate reason why. Because men are more expendable than women by virtue of their biology. That's why. So anyway, yeah, what are other forms of oppression that men face? How about divorce being like basically a transfer of resources from men to women en masse? Alimony. How about greater rates of unaliving yourself? How about greater rates of depression, greater rates of homelessness, less supports in place for when things go badly for men? Also, how about when you apply to a job, there are programs in place to get women into that job, but not men? You know, because women are, you know, they need to be in that job over you, even though men are judged based on their ability to provide resources, not women, and so on. So, there it is. These are forms of, no, I'm not going to use their language. Okay, we're going to end the video there. So, hit the like, hit the sub, hit all for notifications. Drop me a donation like Hunter M, Adrian R, Tom M, and Bobby, most recent Patreon subscriber. Thank you. Buy my books at bit.ly/heliosbooks. Shoutouts to Curry Kid, being the most recent purchaser of The Strategist's Guide to Seduction. I really do appreciate it. Thank you. Of course, my Patreon is patreon.com/theheliosblog if you're interested in joining. You can support my podcast by clicking in the description link to the podcast itself. Scroll down to support the show and you can see that Buzzsprout link there. Hoping to see some of you there. That would be wonderful. And of course, share this video. Thank you so much for listening, everybody, especially if you listen to the end. I really do appreciate it. Take care of yourselves, and I'll see you next time.